Welcome to Vinyl Addict. This is Chili, and I want to share with you guys my essential Zakk Wylde picks. If you're, wanting to get into Zakk Wylde, and just kind of gonna go through his whole career really quick and pick out things that you should pretty much check out. And starting off, I have 15 of these. So starting off at number 15, I have Generation X. Okay, now this was a tour where it has Zakk Wylde and some other guitar greats. They went on a tour, and Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai was the one who put it together. And these are highlights from the show. And you got, what will happen, like two of the guitarists will pair up for one song, and then the whole group, Generation X, like will get together and do one whole song, like Highway Star by Deep Purple. So all of them are involved. And there's some pictures in there, some really cool pictures. Now, Zakk Wylde is known to be not only a Sabbath disciple, which he calls himself, but also an Allman Brothers. He's a big fan of the Allman Brothers, and they've been a big influence on his music. And he does whipping post on this album, and this is it's a double. And just show you right there. It's orange too, which is really cool. So I thought I'd start off with Generation X, and it's just another part of Zakk, his illustrious career. So and if you also want to hear, there's some cool guitar shit by, Yngwie, Nuno Bettencourt, that's another reason to get this. But, Zakk is on here. So there's the first one at 15. And like I mentioned, he's a Sabbath disciple, and he has the band Zakk Sabbath. Now this one's live, and live in Detroit. There's his little symbol there, and this is comprised of 3 songs. War Pigs on one side is like a 15-minute version. Super Knot and Fairies Wear Boots. So this is his other kind of tribute band that he has called Zakk Sabbath, which is amazing. They sound so much like Black Sabbath. This recording here is, if you're familiar with the Black Sabbath live stuff, there was this album here, Reunion, which they put out, and when they got back together, Sabbath got back together in '99, and there was no overdubs, there was just no canned applause. It was just that's what this pretty much is. It's really cool. And as far as like the way that he presents the songs is like Sabbath does in the '70s, where there's a long, extensive jams. So if you have the super deluxe editions of Volume 4 or Sabotage, and there's the live albums included in those box sets. They have Black Sabbath, just jamming out for like 10 minutes on a song, back in those days in the 70s, and he kind of relives that kind of spirit of Black Sabbath and just jams like, War Pigs for 15 minutes or so. So this is a cool album to get. If another side of Zakk Wylde is the Zakk Sabbath stuff. Now, of course, he's full. People know him as a Black Label Society. If you don't know, but that's one of his main bands. And this is Mafia. So I have this at 13, and this is a nice little gatefold here. Now this one includes the song In This River, which he wrote for Dimebag Darrell, and it's a a song that, it's a mellow song. He plays on the piano, and he plays it on every show. And he says he's always going to play this song in every show. And then when you see him play this song, there's photos of Dimebag and some photos of, even Vinny Paul. It's just the last time it was pretty much both of them. You see, both brothers in the tribute of this song when they played it. And so that's one of the songs on here that makes this album memorable. I went to that show. That was the Dim Crew Incorporated tour, and so this album right here, Mafia, and as far as like that whole thing about Pantera, Zakk Wylde joining Pantera, I'll just say this, and I'll make it really quick. Is that I'm a big fan, of course, of Zakk Wylde, Zakk Sabbath, Black Label Society, Ozzy Osbourne. We get the tributes at his shows when we see him, and I'd rather see him do more as a fan of Black Label Society and Ozzy and things of that nature. Zakk Sabbath, I'd rather see him doing things with those bands, those projects that he has, than Pantera, which is, if they're going to go out there and do it one time, that's fine, but it's just sort of just like seeing Van Halen without Eddie and Alex Van Halen. It's just, I myself would rather just put on the albums, Vulgar Display of Power, or, and Far Beyond Driven, and shut the fuck up and listen to Pantera. But I don't know. It's not my thing. I'm not gonna go check it out. I'd rather see Zakk in his own outfits, which are really cool. Okay, so that being said, this brings us to number 12, which was their last album, the Black Label Society's Doom Crew Incorporated, which is pretty much an album that he made as a tribute to not only his crew but his bandmates, and some lyrics and stuff in here. Now, this is like the first album in which his guitar players and his pretty much they were doing some of the writings as well on here, and they did contributed guitar solos, their own leads and whatnot, and so this was like a group effort, and so that was the first time Zakk said that they did it this way, and it kind of shows that on the tour. There was a dueling kind of guitar solo thing, and with his other lead guitarists, and so that is why I put this one on here, because it was just like they were doing something different, and it was really cool. So there's that. Now, Black Rain is number 11, and this is an Ozzy album, of course, but this is sort of like, it sounds like Black Label Society with Ozzy Osbourne as the lead vocalist. It seems like the riffs are just so usually there was that whole thing about, Ozzy would say, oh, he keeps these riffs for, the Black Label shit, and, gives me shit, whatever. But the riffs on here are really fucking cool, and it does sound like Black Label Society riffs with Ozzy singing. So, with that being said, Black Rain is a really cool album. Check this one out. No. This one is a Black Label Society album called The Song Remains Not the Same. And what this is a bunch of Black Label Society songs that he took the studio versions of songs and re-recorded them in an unplugged fashion. And he also has put on some cover songs here, like Can't Find My Way Home, which is a Blind Faith song, which I believe he does better. Bridge Over Troubled Water, you get to see that side of Zakk playing on the piano. No Elton John songs yet, because that's one of his other big idols. But he's doing these songs here: "Bridge Over Troubled Water" by Simon and Garfunkel. But he also, does "Darkest Days" and "Parade of the Dead." So "Overlord," but he kind of unplugs them and mellows them out, and he does the first Noel, which was cool. It's a little Christmas thing there at the end, just an instrumental. So this one you could get by itself. This is how it looks. I like how they have that. He has that little Black Sabbath cross there. But now there's a part 2 that came out, which is a 3 final collection of more songs of that he has made unplugged from his catalog. But that is from the No More Black. That's included in the No More Black box set I have right here. I have actually 2 of them because one of them there was a defect with them, so I had to get another one. But that what I'm talking about, I'll try to pull it out later and show you guys. The song remains not the same part 2, but this is the part 1 one. But anyone you get, just to show that side of Zakk is really cool. The piano stuff, which is the same here with Black Label Society Hangover Music Volume 6, coming in at number 9. And this is when he started doing that kind of like mellow stuff under Black Label Society. But then there's original music as well. You have the song Lane, which is really cool, which is about, Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. It's a good tribute song to him. He does Wider Shade of Pale on the piano from Procol Harum. Let me show you this. Inside. He does some instrumental stuff like Tequila, which is this acoustic piece, really like a minute and a half long. But there's some really good songs on here. So Black Label Societies, Hangover Music Volume 6. That's at number 9. Now number 8, we go to the very beginning. This is No Rest for the Wicked. Is the first time Zakk was on an Ozzy album with Miracle Man and Crazy Babies. This is 1988, I believe this came out. There's some of his daughters. They're Ozzy's daughters on the cover. So this is where it all began right here. Every saga has a beginning, and this is where it was. And I just remember seeing that video for the first time. He's with all the pigs in the sty, and he had the bell bottoms on, and he had the bullseye, and he was just fucking kicking ass. And I was like, fuck, it's sort of just like, after the whole Ultimate Sin thing, he was kind of getting kind of glammy with the hair and the big hair Ozzy was wearing and the spandex, and you got this guy and it was just like in this geezer Butler on bass, and it was just like, fuck yeah, this was a good return for Ozzy. No Rest for the Wicked. Now, number 7, this is a Zakk Wylde album. So this is just a lot of acoustic music, and it's just under the title Zakk Wylde. And this is Book of Shadows, and there's a Book of Shadows 2. And it doesn't matter which one you get, if you want to take a listen and just hear his stuff, that sounds is like southern rock almost, and folky, and it's just another side. Some people like the heavier stuff, the riffs, and don't really care much for this kind of material that he puts out, or the piano stuff. I like it all. So this is Book of Shadows coming in at 7. Now he had another band. This is number 6, Pride and Glory, and this came out like in '94, and it was a 3-piece band. Losing Your Mind was on here, and Sweet Jesus, which was our Machine Gun Man. That was like a famous song on here. And these are really cool. This is how they look. The picture disc. So with the cow, really cool. Now this comes with a download. And the download includes The Wizard, Torn in by Black Sabbath, of course. Torn and Frayed, the Rolling Stones. Torn and Tattered. Okay, it's not Torn and Frayed, so I was thinking the Rolling Stones song. That's not it. In My Time of Dying, Led Zeppelin cover. The Hammer and the Nail and Come Together, the Beatles cover. Now, it's only on the digital download card that comes with this. They don't have that pressed on vinyl, but I do have this as an added bonus to show you guys. The Black Label Society No More Tears sampler. Now, this is a promo only use, and it has this came out in '99. And it has Come Together, The Wizard. It has some of these Pride and Glory songs on here. So, if and No More Tears, his version of No More Tears, which was really cool. So if you come across that, that's something to check out. There's another little thing I throw out at you guys, because like I said, I'm a big fan, and just going through all this shit. So I'm just like, brings us to number 5. Vertigo. Now this is Zakk Sabbath, and when the 50th anniversary of the first Black Sabbath album came out, Zakk Sabbath went into the same exact studio Black Sabbath recorded their first album, and recorded the first album front to back, track by track, every single one. Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Wasp, Behind the Wall of Sleep. Basically, NIB, Wicked World, Bitter Finger, Sleeping Village, and Warning. So it's it's the classic first album, and let's see what else is in here. So this is Zakk Sabbath just doing the first album of Black Sabbath, and it sounds amazing. These guys have done their homework when it comes to Black Sabbath. What Zakk said, he said, before he was in Ozzy's band and everything, I was just doing keg parties and playing Black Sabbath's covers. He's all, now I'm 52 years old, and I'm still playing a lot of Black Sabbath covers, but with a lot more people watching. So it's, he's never left it. The world of Sabbath, and I just want to show you this one. This is really cool. Vertigo. Vertigo was they called it the album Vertigo because that is the name of the label in England that Sabbath was on. Not in here in America, it was Warner Brothers, but it's Vertigo. And so this brings us to another Ozzy one. Number 4, this is No More Tears album. It has Mama I'm Coming Home, the big hits on there. Mike Inez is on the bass. He came up with that bass line for No More Tears. Randy Castillo on drums, the late Randy Castillo. Mama I'm Coming Home is on here. I Don't Want to Change the World with that riff, great riff. This is a sealed one, but yes, this is one of the albums that early 90s that propelled Ozzy to superstardom again. Was this album right here, No More Tears. It's guaranteed. Check it out. Now number 3 is Sonic Brew. This is the first album from Black Label Society, and the song on here is you got Bored to Tears is on here, Low Down, which is great, Spoken the Wheel, You know, it was the first song he said that they recorded, and he played that one when I saw them. Of course, there's 2 versions of it on this one. This is just the 20, I think, yeah, the anniversary blend, 20th anniversary one. Brings us to number 2, another one. This is a classic album here, 1919 Eternal. Now, this is the reason why I had to buy 2 box sets of No More Black, None More Black, is because the one that I had of this, you know, they just had side A and B, two vinyls of side A and side B, and a lot of people were going through this. I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people who bought defects of it and everything, and so I just went and got another one, and I put, you know, this copy on the wall. I got one of those frames for records, and I just put it on there because it is a great album anyway. And Bleed for Me is what they started you know, when I saw them on the last tour, they started it off with that. They played Demise of Sanity. Yeah, they did a lot of songs from here. Genocidal Junkies, Berserkers, and he ends up here with America the Beautiful, which is really nice. You know, because yeah, I guess this one was dedicated to his dad. He was a veteran, so he's all, you know, he's really patriotic about that stuff. Zakk is, and you know, it's one of his core things that he's really involved in. He wears it on his sleeve, and so my number 1 choice of essential Zakk Wylde material is The Blessed Hell Ride number 1. This album's like he's like just so comfortable with himself and the band and everything. Everything's tight, and just like the riffs are just crazy. Funeral Bell, Destruction Overdrive, Final Solution. He even has Ozzy singing on one of the songs, Stillborn, on here, which is great. And this is, yeah, my number 1 choice. And so, another things, this added bonus here, if you get to check out, you know, these DVDs right here. This Black Label Society, the European Invasion, Doom Troopin'. There's some good documentary stuff on here that's funny. They follow the band around, but then they got the music videos, and they got, you know, the Paris chapter show and the London chapter show. So this is a good one to watch. And this one, if you want to see, you see him on a set of Ozzy. This is a great one. The Budokan out DVD. And on Suicide Solution, he does his unaccompanied solo when he goes in this Star Spangled Banner at the Budokan in Japan. How cool is that, right? Like, he doesn't give a fuck, right? So he'll do what he wants, and yeah, it's really cool to watch now. You know, everyone is just like Japanese people is like, what the hell? But it's Zakk. And my last little piece of, I got Zakk behind me, so you know, I was really prepared for this. But then at the show, this is one of my favorite things that I got. This pick handed down from God himself. So that's my video today. The essentials of, you know, Zakk Wylde, and you know, my thoughts on the whole Pantera thing. You know, it's not for me. I prefer, you know, I'm a kind of purist kind of guy, but you know, maybe for these people in the new generation want to see it, that's fine. But yeah, I gave you guys enough material here if you want to go check out Zakk in all his different, you know, different projects, where it's Zakk Sabbath, Generation X, you know, Black Label Society, and Ozzy Osbourne solo stuff. He has a lot of shit out there. I mean, this box set here, I mean, that's a whole other thing. Oh, I did want to show you guys, yeah. See, this is from the box set of The Song Remains Not the Same, Volume 2. So, and this only comes in the box set. So, Perhaps if you like that other one and you just want to keep on going and keep getting more Zakk shit, like fuck, there's a whole plethora of stuff out there. So share, comment, like, and subscribe if you like this content, what I'm sharing with you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.